Are you going for a blunt melee weapon build? Do you really want to get hold of a powerful mace, especially good for absorbing other enemies' strength, their own blunt damage and doing frost? Then you need Caliban's Retort. This is actually an unleveled item, so you don't have to worry about when you pick it up, meaning it's really good to go ahead and grab it early game. But you will need some lockpicking skills as well as being able to tail certain people. But wait, there's more. This is actually an extra piece of weapon loot that you'll get for completing an early quest inside the Imperial City. That gives you the Debaser sword, which drains willpower and endurance. Now this sword is leveled, so you might want to judge and wait whether or not it's worth getting later. But the combination to pick up both weapons as well as a decent amulet necklace is probably worth it. Caliban's Grim Retort is a fantastic frost mace that will do serious damage and is great for going through the Oblivion gates. It also absorbs blunt on strike, absorbs strength and yeah, as I said, does frost damage. You find it in a mausoleum situated in the Green Emperor Way, but you can only open it by completing and following a quest. You can't picklock this place, but you find it at Caliban Trentus's statue or tomb just above it, so you may need to jump. One of the two enemies that you'll encounter will be Argamir. He'll have the Debaser sword on him and you can actually steal it or kill him a bit earlier. But when you enter this mausoleum you will pretty much be forced to have a fight with him, so unless you go invisible or really just try and ignore him to try and get the mace only, you will get whatever level you're at with the Debaser. To begin this quest, head over to Jensen's Good as New merchandise in the Market Trader District in the Imperial City. Have a chat with Jensen here and she will mention someone called Thornir. He's at the copious coin purse and pretty much undercutting all the other traders by selling some goods that may be coming from some illegitimate means. He's refusing to join the society and so you will need to go and chat to him. There's a few different options to go through with him, but either way he's pretty much not going to reveal much. Instead you'll have to follow him once he leaves his shop. Around 8 PM he should go ahead and leave, but will then spend a few hours at the local inn. So you can go ahead and tail him if you really want into the Merchant's Inn, but otherwise pretty much set your time till 11 PM. And at some point between then and midnight he will go and leave and head to the gardens, so you can follow him directly or head straight to him. It's, I do believe, right around the back of his house, and he's going to be having a conversation with someone else. They don't have to actually be too sneaky here. If you're having trouble with this quest actually triggering, don't panic, just get really close to him and it should trigger. So it turns out this guy Argamir is supplying all of the goods with no questions really asked for obviously a much cheaper rate. Once they've finished spoken, you'll now have to tell Argamis. You'll go through the Green Emperor Way and then to the Imperial City Talos Plaza district where his house is. For whatever reason, if you lose him, then obviously you can check on the map by zooming right in and you should be able to find his house that way or use the clairvoyance spell. So he's a bit of a late sleeper, he won't go to bed till midnight and then he'll wake up at around 4 or leave the house or have a late early breakfast, whatever way you want to call it, and then he'll finally leave at 4 o'clock. So you are best off waiting for this to happen, as we're going to try and break into his house and find any evidence. It's at this point though you could go ahead and try stealing the actual Debaser sword a bit early and then come back if you really just want the sword and have got no interest in the mace. But you will have to pickpocket him or go ahead and kill him. The lock on his door should be an average one, so yeah, you may need to be a little bit more leveled or make sure you've got a spell or some sort of potion to help you. There's really nothing of note in these actual quarters, so I wouldn't really waste your time unless you're an absolute fiend for grabbing everything you can, and he should be gone a good few hours to at least 8 PM. Where you really need to go is into his basement. You'll find piles of bone meal dirt, and turns out he's literally robbing graves for their actual wares and selling them on. Make sure you go ahead and pick up his ledger that's on the table as evidence. Then actually head back to Thornir, who doesn't realise where his goods are coming from, although maybe he should have questioned it a little bit more. Appalled about what's going on, he tells you that Argamis is actually meeting someone or is busy today, so you might want to try following him again. In actual fact, if you're at the right kind of timing, he should be in the mausoleum. As I said, you can use the clairvoyance spell to take you directly there. And now, since he's in there, the door should be open. No matter what you do, he's pretty much going to attack you, so kill him as well as his compatriot, which might be a bit tougher depending on what level you are likewise, but this is something that you relatively can do early. But be warned, the guard did end up coming in here and arresting me twice, so I didn't really understand what I'd done wrong other than maybe trespassing on the actual tomb itself. So don't have any stolen goods in you, just in case. Good set of dwarven armour here as well, which obviously you might be able to go and nab, although it again depends on your level, it might be something slightly lower if you come here really super fast. So the Debaser sword drains willpower and endurance, so really good for taking on mages or maybe even spell swords. As willpower obviously is something that governs your magical regen as well as some of your other magical abilities. It's not the best looking sword, I've got to say, there's nothing really particularly special looking about it, but hey, it's a free sword. Also do make sure you pick up the shovel there as well, that might be needed to trigger the end of the quest, and you do need to show that as evidence for the final talks. If you do get arrested and you've got only maybe a little bit of gold to pay, or you don't mind going to jail, you will now be able to come back here as long as you took the key from Argamir's body. And then you simply search all of these little tombs for the Caliban Trentius tomb. It's really well hidden and absolutely so easy to miss. It's actually more than just a frost mace, it actually absorbs blunt and strength on strike. It's making much tougher, hard hitting enemies do a lot less damage. Obviously if they are using a blunt weapon too. It's actually an elven mace, so yeah, it looks pretty cool. Head back to the Corpius coin purse and your reward from Throlnir will be a Weather Ward circlet. At low levels this will give either 10%, 15%, mid levels 20%, and then if you do get it at level 25 it will give you 35% resistance for fire and frost. Don't forget to also go and talk to Jensine and you'll be relieved of the Gravedigger's shovel as well as maybe a few other quest items, and she'll give you some gold depending on what level you've done this. If you're 25 plus you'll get 600 gold. If you're kind of level 6 to maybe 9, something like that, you might only get 200 gold. So the Grim Retort really is pretty good. It is obviously a non-leveled item, so it doesn't really matter when you get it, it's only going to have them same stats. But of course its base attack stats will increase as you increase your blunt level. That frost damage, the absorption of strength and blunt is really good, especially for tanky enemies as you'll be stealing their strength and then giving it back to them. And yeah, particularly good if you are taking on an enemy that does have a blunt weapon. Remember, blunt covers all maces, hammers and axes. You will get around 70 swings out of it before it needs recharging. Debaser is a bit different. If you really are kind of a min-maxer, then you might not want to get this till a bit later. At levels 1 to 4, it's only going to drain willpower and endurance by 5 points for 20 seconds. At levels 15 to 19, that increases to about 20 points, and at 25 plus, it's 30 points. But again, some of these values, particularly its base attack stats, all depend on your own strength or your own actual agility score, as it is a short sword. So levels 1 to 4, it might only do upwards to 11 damage, base damage, but at level 25 it's going to do 24 damage. Fun fact though, it does actually have the reach of a longsword, likewise with its speed as well. And in terms of uses, you'll actually get 60 no matter what level, because the actual bars increase, so does the cost of using it. Initially it's only 20, but by the time you got it at maybe level 25, it'll be 120 worth of your charge. But yeah, really powerful sword, as I said, against any kind of magical enemy that's firing spells at you. So there we go, 2 in 1, plus a nice little circlet for resistance. Hopefully that's given you an idea of what you want for either weapon, and I'll see you right back to more guides in Oblivion Remastered soon. Bye bye.